Yeah.
What's up? What's up, everybody, and welcome into a thing that may or may not be called Trust the Tape. It's an honor to be with you. My name is Jeff Cavanaugh. Next to me is former Cowboys scout, Super Bowl winning scout, but not with the Cowboys. He didn't want your team to win. He wanted other teams to win. Say hello, everyone, to the great Bryan Broaddus of 105.3 The Fan.
Hey, Bri.
Oh, hey, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Hey, Bri. Hey, Bri.
That's Stewie talking to Brian and Family Guy right before he
There
hits
you
him in the
go.
face with a baseball bat.
With a baseball bat, yeah.
He says, "Hey, Bri," and then he smashes him in the face, and Brian cries for 10 seconds, and he's like, "Dinner's at 6."
There you go.
Sorry,
Love
it's
it, man.
placeholder.
Thank you.
I haven't figured
appreciate that. No, appreciate that. How you doing, Jeffrey? How'd you enjoy your college football yesterday?
College football was lovely yesterday. That's Cam Scadabos, an NFL player, huh?
You know,
Oh, see, I started him off hot.
no, you did. Appreciate you doing that.
That's not
Talk to a scout yesterday with a club because I was curious because a lot of people are asking me now, where does he fall in
Cam
relationship?
Scadaboo, Arizona State running back, white dude, runs real hard. Yeah.
God, I didn't realize he was that short though.
Oh, is he a tiny man?
He's a short guy. Do you see him like standing around everybody? He looks short.
I know he threatened to quit the game in the first quarter.
God, he was trying.
Oh my God, he's 5'6".
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So he's a 6th round guy.
See, the thing about it, that's what I was saying.
Wait, he's listed as 5'11" on ESPN, but then on Wikipedia they say he's 5'6".
Yeah, he's not a very tall guy.
All right.
I talked to a scout who said that depending on the value of what you think running backs, some teams don't value running backs like others. Probably going to fall somewhere between the 3rd and the 5th round is what they were saying. That was going into this game yesterday. Okay. So we will see. I know myself. Have you had a chance to watch several of these running backs? Have you watched Judkins from Ohio State?
Yet? I've watched Ashton Jeanty, Boise State, Omarion Hampton, North Carolina,
right?
Caleb Johnson, Iowa, right? Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, Ohio State. And
okay, what did you think about
Tennessee?
Oh, okay. So you've watched more than me then. You got me by a couple. Okay, what did you think about Judkins from Ohio State?
Here, this is why I'm the best scout, Brian. I'm the best scout because I will give people the scouting report that they don't know they need.
Okay.
My favorite thing about Quinshon Judkins is that when he knows there's about to be contact, he attempts to break his own neck. He sticks his head directly down and tries to make contact with the back of his head. The Ohio State running backs are really interesting to me because there's 2 of them that I think are going to be drafted around the same area.
Probably 3rd round.
And trying to figure out which one I would rather have has been a challenge.
Yeah.
Because I think Judkins is the one that has more of the
catches the ball.
And I think he's got more of the I'm trying to think of my words here. Like some guys are very much what you picture as a running back is like a zone runner where he's going to be going this way, 1 foot in the ground, 1 change of direction, accelerate, and like that looks and feels like a running back. And Judkins is the one of those 2 that I think has a little bit of the outside of that. Like power through somebody, make somebody miss, kind of different sort of fluidity. But every game I watch, I'm like, I think I like Judkins better. And every game I watch, Henderson makes more plays.
Does.
So I'm like, I think they're both top 60 to 85 picks.
Yeah.
And I can't, I'll let you know later for sure which one I like better.
No, that's
I go back and forth.
Yeah, that's a great thing. We'll get through this game this week and then we'll turn into full-time draft mode. But yeah, I felt like that Judkins, I haven't watched Henderson, but I mean, when you're watching Ohio State tape, you do see Henderson. I agree with you about the running style. You know who Judkins reminds me of, and we're about to see this guy this week. Reminds me of Brian Robinson.
Yeah, got a little oomph to him.
Yeah, get a little, like you said, hit the hole, put the foot in the ground, that kind of guy. And a little bit of power to him, catches the ball really, really well. willing enough blocker, even though, I mean, the last couple of days I was watching Commanders tape. They're having trouble with the blitz pickups with Robinson a little bit. So
well, hopefully he can get it together this week. It's a big week.
Yeah, big week for him. Commanders are playing to win.
Yeah, that's great. And I hope the Cowboys aren't. I would guess that the Cowboys aren't.
Commanders are playing to win here. So you're going to
tell you why I think the Cowboys aren't?
Why is that?
I think Ezekiel Elliott being released this week goes right along with that. I think it was like, hey, by the way, last game of the season, we're obviously out of it. Deuce Vaughn's going to play. You're not going to play. And Zeke was like, please let me go home. And they were like, sure. And you can say it's to see if he can catch on with the playoff team or whatever, but I can't imagine the guy with the lowest yards per carry in the entire league over the last 2 years is going to be picked up by a playoff team. So I think it was just doing him a favor. Like, look, you're not playing this week anyway. We're going to run out the babies. And so
they probably didn't want to go in a situation again too, where they're going to deactivate him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And instead of going through all that rigmarole of, like, you know, to be honest with you, when all that went down the last time when this team was going to Atlanta, and now, you know, the Jane Slater report about missed meetings and late and blah, 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 you know, it should have been gone then. And I guarantee if you ask Mike McCarthy right now, if Mike McCarthy is no longer the head coach here and you get him on the side, you say, Coach, what was your thought about Ezekiel Elliott initially? He'd probably tell you, he goes, I didn't have any thoughts about Ezekiel Elliott, to be honest with you, you know, and that's probably what he's going to say. I don't think that Mike McCarthy wanted Ezekiel Elliott to begin with. I just don't think he wanted him at all. And so, you know, front office, bring Zeke back. We didn't draft a running back, all this stuff like that. So anyway, they were right about Rico Dowdle. They appear to be wrong about Deuce Vaughn, you know. They're wrong
about to find out, baby. I think Deuce Vaughn's about to get 12 carries in this MFer.
Very well could. Very well could.
See if he can break one. We love
it. What happened to Dalvin Cook? Is Dalvin Cook
still... You're asking the wrong guy, Brian. There's a lot of people. Hold on, let me check my buttons. There's a lot of people.
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah.
It might want to come on down. They got real hot and bothered at Jeffrey for a long time.
What about
Zeke and Dalvin Cook?
Oh yeah.
When NFL running backs are washed, they're washed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
When they're washed, they're washed, and that's it. Some guys can make it longer. Usually, they're the guys who take care of their bodies.
That's a real. I mean, I know on 105.3 The Fan, Mike Bassick asked that question. He goes, you see what's going on with, Derrick Henrys and guys like that in the world and having this resurgence of their careers, these guys that took care of themselves, your guy didn't do that.
No, he had a great time. Like Zeke's 20s were a lot like my 20s. And so it's not like I can judge him for it.
No, I'm not an NFL player though either.
Right. The guys who were going to be able to survive that. And Zeke also had more wear and tear coming in and in his first 3 years or whatever, like all of those things. But yes, also Derrick Henry, I read a thing or watched a thing about it. He wouldn't
even eat the red velvet cake for winning the MVP thing at the end of the game the other day, like Christmas Day
LeBron James stuff. LeBron spends over $1 million a year on his body, and Derrick Henry doesn't have LeBron money. So I think the number I saw was like he spends $100,000 a year on his body and making sure that he can hold up the best that he can. And it's like, yeah, sure. Zeke was washed when he got here. Dalvin Cook was washed when he got here. The fact that we were sitting around wondering about the old man on the practice squad and when's he going to get here and save the day? Never. He was never going to. Zeke was never going to help. Dalvin Cook was never going to help. And everybody got so mad because you said it because they own their jerseys. That's not my fault. Y'all chill out. Yeah. Y'all chill out. If somebody look here now. I'm actually in a good mood. I'm in a good mood today. But if people are if two very trustworthy men like us, like Jeff, and like Brian.
Hey, Brian.
Are at camp every day telling you, oh, yeah, Rico's way better than everybody else out here at running back. Like, they've got one running back out here. Like, where do you get the, nuh-uh? We're out here watching them every day. I'm telling you. Where do you get your nuh-uh, stupid face? Y'all chill out.
Yeah.
That's all.
I like you. I have Junkins. By the way, Heist. I've got Junkins in the third. I've got him
Yes,
in the
I'm
third.
watching.
And I know people were talking about Scatterburn in the second, and I don't think that's going to be the case for me.
I've got Ashton Genty in the first, Marion Hampton at North Carolina in the second, Caleb Johnson at Iowa in the second, Travion Henderson I currently have walking a tightrope between a cheater grade of 2-3 and the third, and then I have Hampton at Tennessee and Judkins at Ohio State in the third. That's what I got.
Yeah, the four I've got Genty in the first, Johnson in the top of the second, Hampton below him, Judkins in the third. Those are the guys that I've seen so far.
Yeah, we really got to get you watching more tape, Brian. You're way behind me on running back.
On running back, I'm way behind you.
I bet you're 60 player
Your that Ohio State kid put on a show yesterday, right?
Travion? Which one? Oh, Ibuka?
Well, Ibuka's good, but the other kid they got there, the other wide receiver, number 4.
Oh, the freshman. I was tweeting about him yesterday. He would be the first pick in the draft this year. The Ohio State.
You think over
Hunter? Yeah.
Over Hunter?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean he's a freak show. Like he's going to be one of those. He's a Julio Jones type of guy. Like he transcends all of you idiots. Like he's going to be the best receiver prospect in a half decade or more. Ohio State has a true freshman that if he were in the draft, he would be the number 1 wide receiver, probably the number 1 pick, unless a quarterback gets picked. And I think that we need to find Jeremiah Smith.
Jeremiah Smith, yeah.
And I think we need to find a way, and I don't know the right way to do this, where if he wanted to,
Golden put on a show for Texas yesterday too. You're right about that. Golden put on a show for Texas.
I was wondering while I was watching Isaiah Bond tape, because like I know the stats at Texas.
And you see Golden like make every play.
Yeah, like Golden's their leading receiver, and every game that I'm watching trying to find the few Isaiah Bond catches, Golden is catching 8 passes, and I'm like, why is no one talking about their best receiver? He's the only one that makes plays for them. But whatever. Jeremiah Smith needs to be able to play in the NFL next year if he wants to. I just don't know how that process should work because obviously it's rare that an 18 or 19-year-old could. But they should just be like, hey, we polled the NFL personnel and they said, absolutely, he's a top 10 pick. He can come. Like you should, or I should be able to pick him and I don't get him for 2 years. The Cowboys should be able to use their pick on Jeremiah Smith and you can have him when he's eligible. I'm willing to wait 2 years.
Didn't they do that? I think the Celtics did that with Larry Bird.
I'll do it. I would pick him with the 12th pick for 2 years from now. And for 2 years,
just struggle.
I'll wait.
Struggle.
Wouldn't that make it way more fun in the draft? You're like,
it would be a lot of fun if you just.
Now that we're in the early third, I saw this freshman that I think 2 years from now is going to be pretty good.
I think they did that with Herschel Walker, the USFL draft. I think he was a 5th round pick.
Andrews in the super chat, is Dylan Sampson a possibility in the third, or we have to get him in the second? I'd love to have Genty in 1, but I don't think the boys. Jones boys. I have seen Sampson. I would take him in the third in a heartbeat. I don't. The game that I believe in 2025, I'm going to distance from in draft talk is, can we get that guy in the third, or do we have to get him in the second?
Yeah, but you're in a position now where you don't have to reach. If say you finish where you're picking 13th, say, right? When you're thinking round early is when you're in the 20s, right? Because it ain't coming back to you. It ain't coming back. Like the player you have on your board at 13 is going to be the player. Then you circle back around again, and that player you don't have to reach. When you're picking in the 20s, you have to almost draft around early on a lot of players because they're not going to be back around. If you talk about the cheater grade, if you think you got some cheater grades on some guys and you think you're going to be able to come back and get them when you're picking in the 20s, that just doesn't happen.
Yeah. Well, I remember the CeeDee Lamb draft when leading up to it. If I was doing little mock drafts, little simulator dealies, every time CeeDee Lamb made it, I would just reboot the machine. I'd be like, well, that's not going to happen. And so when it's like, well, do I have to pick this guy at 45 or could he make it to 70? Like we're going to say that they won't make it about too many people. And so I don't want to discount possibilities.
No. A matter of fact, that draft happened in a way that was a very good case study for why you would wait, because they took Lamb at 17, they took Diggs at 60.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Diggs at 17. So yeah, sometimes it circles back. Depending on, but this will be an unusual draft for us, Jeff. I don't think we've had this few of first round grades on players in a long time.
I agree. I think
And
mine will be like 12-ish, 11 or 12.
I think once you put the quarterbacks in there, you'll be kind of like close
13,
to
14.
13, 14, 15. Yeah, somewhere right around there. Yeah.
Mari's music. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Steven made it sound like Lance won't play versus
He's
Commanders.
not. I don't think he is. And I know people don't like my theory on this one.
I could buy it. I could buy it. But I also think that when they like their guys, they keep their guys. So I could totally see that it's Cooper Rush for 2 years and $5 million.
Oh no, I mean, but yeah, I think a lot depends on if McCarthy comes back though too, and so I just feel like that we've seen Trey Lance in preseason games. We're not too excited about Trey Lance in preseason games, but they've worked with him for 2 years at practices and stuff like that. There's been practices that we haven't seen. We don't know what goes on after practice. And so, I kind of feel like there's a side of me that believes that Trey Lance has a little loyalty to the Dallas Cowboys. And please give me a little latitude here. They traded for him, 4th round pick, took a lot of heat for it. They continued to pay. They didn't ask him to redo his salary or anything like that. They continued to pay him, off the trade. They didn't ask him for reductions or anything like that. And, they did what they had to do for the guy. I think that I'll be interested to see if Lance does go somewhere, or does he get an opportunity. We all know what Cooper Rush is, and they can sit there and talk glowingly about Cooper Rush all they want, but they're fooling themselves. I do believe that maybe they've misevaluated this one completely with Trey Lance, but I believe they would love to have Trey Lance as their backup next year. I really, really do believe that.
That's a take brought to you by Bryan Broaddus.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, Brad.
Let's see. Zeke released. Bang. Who do we believe will be in the Cowboys running back room next year? Is Rico Dowdle going to be a part of it, or do you think we're looking for our lead back in the 2nd or 3rd round, or maybe the 1st if Ashton Genty is available?
Yeah, I just wonder at 13. Say Dallas gets there. Say that's 11, 12, 13, somewhere right around there. I wonder if Genty will be the best player on their board, or will Banks, the tackle from Texas, be the best player on their board, or will Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan, be the best player on their board, or will you talk the Ohio State receiver? I tell you what, have you watched the kid Jeff from Texas, the corner?
I have not watched the Texas corner yet. No.
Yeah.
Although I saw a post from our friend Lombardi about a Texas corner, so I'm assuming that's who it is. Barron.
Yeah, Barron. Yeah. Now he is an interesting cat because he could play outside, he could play inside, he could play safety. He plays down like as a rover and a linebacker. He tackles well. He covers. He plays zone. He plays man really well. I like the kid from East Carolina a lot. Reville, who has the knee
You're not
injury.
scared of tall. You're not scared of tall, skinny people. I'm scared of tall, skinny people.
Man, that guy can cover. Jeez, he can cover. He can move. He really can. I mean, he can move. I was talking to some scouts about him that do that part of the country, and they were like, man, if he didn't get hurt, he would be the number 1 corner on everybody's board.
He's outside of my cornerback profile. I'm so scared of the high cut, long leg.
Then you don't like Will Johnson from Michigan either.
I think Will Johnson is a proportional corner. Like, he's thicker, and I don't think his legs are as long.
He's 6'2".
I'm telling you, your guy's legs are longer. His belly button is up right below his nips. It creeps me out. It weirds me out.
It's known as high cut, Jeff, in the scouting world. I thought I taught you that 7 or 8 years ago.
I fear the high cut corner. I fear the tall, high cut corner. I can't help it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm scared of him. That's all.
Yeah.
Look,
Everybody, I tell you what, everybody is falling in love with this Arizona State back. Everybody's falling in love.
Oh yeah,
with
this
him.
one guy said, "Give me Scattaboo, please. I don't know any more about Genty." Can I just tell you guys something about Ashton Genty? Like, because I got that question a lot. Because I hate running backs, and the Cowboys
that is the most honest thing you've said this morning, Jeff.
And the Cowboys
other than good morning.
Yes, and the Cowboys could pick Genty in the first round, and I would have no problem with that pick. And I hate running backs, so that means he's really good. And I had kind of expressed that on the internet. And so after their playoff game, I got multiple questions from people like, "What about Genty now?" And I'm like, "He was incredible." But I guess that is both sides of the coin. Ashton Genty was probably or maybe the best player on that field.
Yeah.
Penn State had the next 25
Carter.
best players.
Yeah, so Carter and those guys are
so
good.
What do you want? And he averaged 4 yards a carry. He broke 17 tackles to get 4 yards a carry. Yeah. Almost all of his yards were after contact. Ashton Genty looked great. But if none of your blockers are as good as the people they're blocking, life is really hard. Ashton Genty is a stud.
See, this is
stud.
People were just waiting for this game for Ashton Genty. They were just waiting for this one.
He's a stud. He's Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
Like he's really good.
Yeah.
I would be fine. I'm fine with him. I do want to bring Rico back.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It depends on if he has a market.
Like, what's Rico? It's funny when you look at
I don't know what his market is. If he got $3 million a year, I wouldn't be shocked. If he got $8 million a year, I'd go, oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of overthecap.com because just my numbers. I mean, I don't know anything about caps, but I'd like to just kind of look and see what it is. They said the evaluation of him as a player, the value of him as a player was like a $12 million player.
Yeah, somebody else can have him for that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's just amazing that they've got a guy they're paying $1.2 million. And this is why I think Dallas doesn't do anything in the free agent market. I think they think they go get Brock Hoffman, who costs them $927,000 and gets $14,000 or $14 million worth of guard play from him. I mean,
Over
the valuation
has him as a $7.1 million player, Brian. 7.1.
Who's that? Which guy?
On Rico Dowdle.
Over the cap?
Yeah, his 2024 over the cap valuation, 7.1.
Yeah. Well, that's like earlier it was 12. Like they had several guys like Oso.
Oh yeah, they have it week by week. In week 13 and 14, he was at 12.8, 12.8, and then in week 15 he was at 15 million.
Yeah.
Then he dropped to 4.2, and now he's back at 7.3. Okay, so they're going wild.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's weird, but I think this is where the Cowboys are at right now. I mean, I really, really do. I think the Cowboys are looking at this and saying, and they're playing the bottom fishing game, and sometimes they catch fish and sometimes they don't catch fish. But they are seeing that they're getting value from players that are costing them $1.1 million, $1.2 million. Brock Hoffman. I do not want Brock Hoffman playing 17 weeks for me. I'm sorry. I just don't. I think Brock Hoffman playing for 5 weeks is really, really good. But 17 weeks? No. No. So if you could take Banks and you take Banks and move him to guard, I'd be fine with that. And that's play that right.
We're vibing.
I hate the fact that I actually agree with you on that. People ask about Luther Burton in this draft, Jeffrey.
Well, he's good. He's a good player. Yeah. My struggle with Luther Burton is the more, and I think this is a sign of my maturity, Brian.
You're digging in on him, aren't you?
I get into this scouting thing, the less I talk in definitives. Yeah. Burton's super fun. Luther Burton at Missouri did not get a lot of help from their offense or their quarterback this year, so his numbers aren't real good.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that quarterback was supposed to be good. Cook, I think is his name.
Whoever that guy is, he's terrible. And on that note, the Stanford receiver, shout out to you for not quitting football. His quarterback sucks.
Yeah.
With all due respect. Young guys, I don't want to talk bad about them. Their quarterback had some struggles. But Burton is just like, he's hell on wheels. He's like a littler. No, I'm not going to say that. Like the way that he plays once the ball is in his hands, you got to deal with him like you got to deal with Debo, and it sucks.
Yeah.
He's not as big and strong, but so like there's more of a quickness and a speed element to it.
Mhm.
But he's just hell to deal with because he's a kind of stoutish,
Mhm.
powerful, and fast, and he's just hell to deal with.
Can I help you on a super chat here, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Andrew wanted to know, where did y'all have Nakua coming? Okay, I'm going to be really, really honest with you here,
I might
Andrew.
not even seen him.
I looked at 215 players that year, and not one of them was Puka Nakua.
Yeah, so we blame big media for not putting him on the radar.
I apologize to you guys, because how do you look at 215 players? And I looked at wide receivers that drafted, didn't even get drafted, and didn't have Puka Nakua on my list. I mean, there's so many guys you can do. That's not an excuse, but honestly, that one haunts me, because you get down to the end and like, okay, I think I got this down. I think I got the guys I need. And then all of a sudden, this dude shows up. And that, to be honest with you, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to say I did not look at Puka Nakua.
You should be. You should go back and watch his college tape now and put a grade on it.
You know what? You're absolutely right. But BYU, I mean, no offense. I mean, it get down to the very end. I'm trying to stack my board, 215 up. I'm like, okay, this is where we're going to go. And should have looked at 216, Jeffrey.
Yeah, you should have. Vance knows me. Yes, I'm already wanting to tank for the 2027 draft to get the Ohio State wide receiver. I'm trying to get Jeremiah Smith. Maybe the Bama wide receiver, Ryan Williams, 17-year-old over there. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the fun part about draft stuff, is watching people, or you're watching people and you're like, whoa, why is nobody talking about this guy?
Well,
and then you look him up, you're like, because he can't go to the league yet.
That was funny. I remember when I was in Green Bay, we were all in the room watching, and like it'd be Florida State, Miami. That was the heyday in the early 90s when those two teams were going at it. Someone would go, "Hey, who's that number 97? Oh, he's a freshman."
Yep.
Like, oh, okay, thanks. You're always like,
when we were watching,
you're supposed to be watching Peter Bolware, but you're watching some guy.
When we were watching Georgia and we were watching together, Jordan Davis, big old D tackle, and like we're like, holy crap, he's not even the best player on this D line. Who's this other guy? And it was like, his name is Jalen Carter. He's a freshman.
He's a freshman.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I think, but Ohio State's got a safety that's not draft eligible, Downs.
Yeah, Downs. He's a really good player. Yeah, Ohio State and Texas is going to be an interesting matchup. My son Bennett, who goes to school at Texas, is terrified of Ohio State.
I thought Oregon was going to beat Ohio State, and then I felt so stupid. I mean, you got to deal with
Oregon's a good team, but man, they did not play very well yesterday. Ohio State came to play on offense yesterday. They actually give Chip Kelly some credit. I mean, he dialed up some matchups that they were able to win. Like I say, putting Smith on a 5'10" corner is pretty much a win for Ohio State.
Ohio State's got some dudes for you, man. They got two.
They sure do.
They got 2 first-round wide receivers, one this year, one 2 years from now, and then they got 2 top 100 pick running backs. They got some dudes for you.
Brian Stabline is their coach, their wide receiver coach. How many guys has he put in the damn league already? Recruiting, and then all of a sudden puts them out there, man. Wow.
All of them. Ohio State is a good place to pick from. Maybe that's what we should want the Cowboys to do, is just pick a school and go with it. It's got to be Georgia or Ohio State. They would go with Michigan.
Yeah.
That's what they would go with.
Yeah. Well, hey, Kyle, once again, Puka was a Senior Bowl guy. Sure. Yeah.
What the hell, bro? You didn't watch the Senior Bowl?
I tried to watch. But like I said, I should have done a full-on report on this guy. Absolutely should have done a full-on report on this guy.
Yeah, I think everybody today leave in the comments how disappointed you are in Brian.
Please do.
That he let you down.
Happy New Year to you too, by the way.
Happy New Year to
Hey, you know what? That's what I'm saying. I mean, when you're scouting them up, you miss some guys, but you shouldn't miss a guy like that. Shouldn't.
I'd like to shout out to the hold on, let me see the name of the paper. I would like to shout out to, you just hold on, Brian. The Baltimore Sun.
Oh.
Story in the Baltimore Sun.
Baltimore.
Skeptics have told Ravens safety Ardarius Washington he's too small. It makes his role as the improbable savior of this defense even sweeter.
Yeah.
Tiny man.
Not you, Jeffrey. You had him right.
My tiny man. Redeeming me for
now?
all
Like
of my
10 years?
bad takes.
10 years? Has this guy played 10 years? How long has this guy played now?
Oh no, he's only in like year 3 or 4. How long's
I thought he was
Trevon Merrick been in the league? I don't know.
I thought he was a lot longer than that.
Let's see.
Good for you. Good for you.
Sometimes you got to bet on the 5'7", 160-pound safety. Which is
Man, you know what?
insane.
There is something about these ball players. What do you think? So you're happy Commanders are going to play this weekend.
Yeah, I'm
happy.
thrilled. Yeah. We need to get
You
up to
think
number 11.
Commanders want to go play the Rams. They don't want to go play the Eagles. Pretty smart take, I'd say.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dallas is going to have their hands full.
Yeah. We're gonna take a hot L and we'll move on to draft season. Draft season will start on Monday. You didn't think I'd have you a Bryan audio piece, did you? You didn't think I'd have anything, did you?
No, man, because I was kind of thinking New Year's Eve threw you off a little bit, maybe.
No.
Yeah.
Someday,
there's been times where I've kind of text you, "Hey, we working today?" Oh crap, I'm pushing a cart here at Kroger right now.
I was at Kroger.
Yeah. You were looking for a deal on chicken wings. I know what you're doing.
Now this is a hot dog bun.
You were looking for hot dogs. Okay,
yeah.
I got you. I got what you're doing.
Have a great day,
Good deal.
Bryan. I can't believe you told these people what happened to me and that I wasn't ready to broadcast. That is the way you just tear me down.
I just know. I you know what? I'm not tearing you down at all. I'm just getting ready. I'm getting you ready for draft season, man.
Draft season probably
these Tuesdays and getting ready for these Tuesdays and Thursdays where we battle royale for 30.
We work on Mondays and Thursdays, Bryan. Get it together.
I'm sorry, Jeffrey. Mondays. What day is? I lost track of the days.
That's Bryan.
Hey, Bryan.
I'm Jeff. We're getting the hell out of here. We'll see you guys on what day is it? We'll see you guys
Thursday. Yeah, I'll see you on Monday, right?
Remember, it's 2025. Be nice.